You make my world a better place.
Yes!
Hey there, mate. He's walking with me.
I can depend on you.
Today I'm on my way to see a patient that, well, was so sick the last time I saw him. It's a little bit amazing he survived it all. He's not out of the woods just yet. In fact, he's got himself into a little bit of trouble. He's behind bars.
Chris has arrived at Dilwinya, a women's prison located 60 kilometres northwest of Sydney.
I had no idea that this sort of thing even took place, with the inmates looking after the animals in it. I knew that someone was going to call me pretty boy in a prison. I'd be a little bit nervous, but when it's like that, it's okay.
Fiona is one of the custodial officers at the prison, but it's not only human inmates under her care. Dilwinya is also home to a wildlife centre, where sick and injured animals are nursed back to health by the inmates.
One of the great things about the inmates working with the animals is that the animals don't judge. So this is a really positive thing for the wildlife and the inmates.
Wow, Wayne Swan on the inside, who would have thought?
This is Marie.
Hey Marie, how you going?
Hi Chris, nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Hey, so you've been looking after him?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
He's improved greatly.
Marie is one of the inmates. She's been caring for Chris's old patient Wayne Swan since he arrived at the prison.
So he's eating well and...
Oh, he's doing great. He's eating well. He's preening. He's quite happy in here. He's got a little friend, as you can see. He's a totally different Swan.
When I first see him, there is a moment where I look at him and think, have they actually got the right Swan here? Because he looks so different. He's really filled out and he looks happy.
Chris first met Wayne 7 months ago when he answered an emergency call from a family who found the sick swan in their backyard.
Yeah, he's not in a good way. He was so weak and listless that his neck was just hanging down. I mean, he was close to death. I had to stabilise him right there and then. After I treated him, he went off to wires and now he finds himself here. How do you normally catch him in here? Is he a challenge?
You need a rake. Actually, you need 2 people and 2 rakes.
Yes.
And a pair of swimmers. There's no doubt that Wayne's looking good, but is he looking good enough to be released? Only a checkup will tell. A lot of hissing going on.
Yes. My hopes for Wayne today are that Chris gives him the all clear and lets us know that he's definitely ready to be released.
Mm-hmm. That was for me.
We have the emergency here.
At the Bondi Referral Hospital SASH,
Hi, I'm Lisa.
How are you?
14-week-old Wilson is in agony after a game of chasey turned into disaster.
Might just take him out the back and I'll pop back out and have a chat to you.
No worries.
My little sister and her friend were having a play with the dog, I guess, and they were chasing him around and he was jumping. So my sister jumped up on her bed, jumped off the bed and landed on Wilson and could hear the screaming and didn't know what was going on. So I ran upstairs, grabbed the dog, ran him here.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. When a little dog comes in like this and it's been jumped on, it's so small that he could have really been injured anywhere. So I've just got to start at his head and work down to the tail and assess every part of his body for injuries. And his pupils are symmetrical and responding normally. That does make brain damage less likely. I'm a little bit worried about this left shoulder. And you can't always feel if something's broken, but he's certainly not liking it at all. I definitely think he's had a big knock to that leg. Oh, buddy, you've got a sore leg. Wilson is tiny. He's only 1.3 kilos and a teenager has jumped on him. There's a chance that he's got some massive internal injuries and we need to take some x-rays to confirm that.
For Helena, it's upsetting news.
He's really limping on that front leg.
I'm so sorry. I've only had him like 2 months, so this is all a bit overwhelming. Don't really know what to do.
He's saying I'm innocent, both hands up in the air. Where'd you learn that, huh?
At the Dulwina Women's Prison, Chris is examining Wayne to determine if the swan is ready to be set free.
Just listening to him now, his lungs are very clear. His heart rate's a little high, but that probably comes from trying to catch him in that pond there.
Inmate Marie has been Wayne's primary carer since he arrived at the prison's wildlife centre.
I've been treating Wayne with antibiotics. I've also been doing physiotherapy on his wing and some water therapy to encourage him to flap his wings and to preen.
I can see where the infections that he had have really been healing. Honestly, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
You really have, because these, as well as all the rest of his problems, they're not easy to fix. What? Now you're staring. It's getting weird. Even though Wayne looks healthy, there is one important test to see if he's ready to go back into the wild and fend for himself. So I just want to see his ability to flap his wings. So this is going to get a little bit messy. So if I just... Okay. So you can see both wings are moving pretty well and pretty symmetrically once they get going. The old wing flap test doesn't seem so scientific, but right now it's telling me everything. See how he's panting just a little bit? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Obviously the act of flying, the act of flapping his wings is tiring him out. Yeah. Now, you've done an amazing job. He is looking healthy, but he's just not looking fit.
Okay.
I guess that's the problem we've got right now, is that he looks to me like he's ready to be released, but he's not quite ready to fly. And we really need both.
Yeah.
We just need a little bit longer.
I am disappointed that Wayne's not going to be released today, but I do understand that he has to be in tip-top condition before we release him.
Wayne, is that all right? No, it's not all right, but we're going to have to deal with it. I know it was a very tough call to not release him, but at least in my heart I know leaving him is really going to pay off. Wayne doesn't need that much more time. To have that extra bit of fitness on board will make so much difference out in the wild.
I'm going to predict that he's not going to like this very much. It's a little baby needle. We'll just do it here.
3-month-old Wilson is receiving pain relief at Sash after accidentally being trampled during a game of chasey with one of his teenage owners.
If only he could understand that all we're trying to do is help him. Unfortunately, it does come with a needle. I hope we will still be friends by the end of the day. I feel terrible.
Wilson is now undergoing a full-body X-ray to check for any internal injuries.
He could have damage to his chest, to his abdomen, to his spine. He could have broken legs. We really, really need to get those X-rays and have a good look inside him to see if there's any major injuries. Hey. Settle down, baby. Good boy. Can't see any obvious rib fractures. All his ribs look really nice and there's no obvious breaks in his front legs. I mean, if you look at the size of Wilson and then you look at the size of a teenage girl, if she's jumping on the bed and lands on him, that's a lot of impact going onto a tiny little body. He's really, really lucky. I thought it would be a lot worse. Buddy, it's good news. I know it seems like your world is ending, but nothing's broken. So the plan now is really just rest. There's nothing more we can do for the injury. It's like it's soft tissue. It's like a strain or a bruise to the shoulder. We're going to give him some pain relief. Watch him really closely overnight. Just monitor his breathing, make sure that there's no deterioration. And if all is well by the morning, he'll be able to go home and recuperate there. We'll look after him, hey, buddy?
Helena can now go home and pass on the news to her remorseful little sister.
She's in shock. She just called me about 3 times, stressing out at home. She's trying to figure out what's happening. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And I'll be calling you with some news, hopefully not too bad, yeah.
when you get an email from a 14-year-old girl pleading with you to help out a horse that she's fallen in love with, it's not something you can easily ignore. So I'm on my way now to meet Tash and her Charlie to see if there's anything I can do.
Chris is responding to an SOS from the Safe Haven Horse Rescue Centre in Yan Yean, 40 kilometres northeast of Melbourne.
Sure I heard in today, boy?
Waiting there for him is volunteer Tash and 9-year-old Appaloosa gelding Charlie.
The second I saw him, I just fell in love with him. He's so beautiful and gentle, but his eye was sort of swollen and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I had no idea what was wrong, but I knew something wasn't right.
Owner Lyndall opened Safe Haven last year to help horses like Charlie.
I'm scared that it's a cancer that maybe it can't be fixed, but I just don't want to give up.
Hey there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you. I can't believe you came.
Well, trust me, that letter's a little bit hard to ignore, so I am here. Now, Tash?
Yes,
Yeah?
Tash.
How are you?
Thank you so much.
It's all right, no worries at all. G'day.
Miss Diana.
Hey, Miss Diana, how you
It's
going?
my business partner, I'm Lyndall.
Hey, Lyndall, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I've seen a few horses around here. Which one's Charlie?
That's Charlie over there.
Right there. When Tash first points out Charlie, he looks like a nice horse. Beautiful Appaloosa. Hey, buddy. But once you get closer, you can really see that weight on his eyelid weighing it down. It's a big lump. Wow, that's really something. Where did he actually come from originally, Lyndall?
He was surrendered to us by a lady, so he came to us with the lump on his eye, but it's probably doubled in size since he's been here, and
Wow.
that's only over the last few weeks to a month, yeah.
That's quick. When Lyndall mentions the fact this lump has grown so quickly over the last month, that really worries me. The lump is firm. It feels like it's got two parts to it.
Okay, yep.
I don't think it's attached to the bone around his eye, but I'm not sure how deep it actually pushes in. And that's probably the bit that worries me the most.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep a bit of a poker face because I don't really want to give away my concerns over this lump in front of Tash. I'm glad you actually wrote to me when you did, because if you were to leave that for any longer, then if it is something nasty, it could so easily just go straight into his eye, and from there, there's not much that can be done. In a paddock with only very basic equipment, it's very hard to give them a definitive diagnosis about what's going on with Charlie. To get a true answer, what we need is a biopsy. All right, well, I might make a phone call now and see if I can arrange for him to go and visit some friends of mine nearby. Hey, Lynchy, how are you?
Hey, mate, how you going?
Yeah, good, good. I've got a horse that has a lump around its eye that doesn't look great.
Chris is calling equine specialist Dr. Andy Lynch at the Yarrambat Veterinary Clinic.
You okay if I put him on a float and run him into you now?
No problem.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Good boy. He's just my whole world now. And the worst case for me would be that there's no cure for whatever it is and that I lose him.
Here we go, Charlie. You're right, buddy. Easy, buddy.
Chris has arrived at the Yarrambat Veterinary Clinic with Tash, Lyndall and Misty.
Good boy.
They're really keen to see what they can do for him.
Good, okay. They are about to find out if the rapidly growing lump on Charlie's eyelid is cancerous.
Yeah, it's pretty prominent there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And it's not a good spot.
Equine specialist Dr. Andy Lynch is an old university mate of Chris's. Today, he'll be overseeing Charlie's biopsy.
So what I've explained to Tash is that we'd love to get a little sample of cells out of that lump.
I think that's a good idea, Tash.
Yeah. This biopsy is really the key to us finding out exactly what this lump is. The plan is to give Charlie just a light sedation, go in with some local anaesthetic, numb the area, and then with a little biopsy punch, go in there and grab just a tiny little core of tissue. That'll then get sent to the lab, and we'll get an answer. Have you met Coda?
No.
If anyone knows about being positive, about getting through the tough times, it's this little guy.
He's so small. Just pick him up.
Misty, Lyndall and Tash are so nervous about Charlie's biopsy, that Chris decides to introduce them to a little guy that beat all the odds.
Coda's a horse I operated on a few years ago. He may be small, but he did have big problems.
Go, baby, go.
Uh-oh. He essentially has adult-sized teeth inside that tiny head of his. They were pushing in and essentially growing into his skull. They had to be removed, but it wasn't easy.
I'm ready. There you go. Ooh, here we go. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. That's extraordinary, isn't it?
It's just absurdly large. I mean, this is enough to put the tooth fairy into liquidation. It's ridiculous. You know, if Coda can get through his little hurdles and obstacles, then fingers crossed Charlie can too.
Yeah.
While Coda's ordeal is over,
so you shouldn't feel this, you don't need to worry.
Charlie's is just beginning.
Almost got it. Okay, yep, we've got something there. Excellent. Just pull it out there. Looks quite fleshy, doesn't it?
Looks pretty solid. Yeah, I think you're right to be concerned about this one.
The sample will be sent to the lab and the results should be back by tomorrow.
It's okay. I don't think I'm going to sleep at all tonight. I'll be up all night worrying. I'm just going to keep everything crossed and hope for the best.
Come here. The thing I really want Tash to be preparing herself for is that tomorrow she may get bad news. Sometimes the reality of looking after animals is no matter how much you care for them, how much love you show them, you just can't help bad luck.
Good night.
Wilson, good morning. You're happy to see me today. Feel better? Yeah.
A day after being accidentally jumped on by one of his teenage owners, little Wilson has made an amazing recovery.
He's definitely not as sore as he was last night. His shoulder's much more comfortable. He's letting me have a good feel of it. He's not shrieking out in pain and he's acting like a normal puppy, so I think he's going to be ready to go home.
Come on, Wilson! Wilson, come on!
He's definitely still got a little bit of a limp, but it doesn't seem to be stopping him. He's walking around, he's wagging his tail, he's so much happier. Last night he didn't even want to move.
Wilson's owners, Helena and Jess, are relieved the ordeal is finally over.
He's just so small and he just runs so fast and I accidentally stepped on him. He just laid there. It was so scary.
It was so unsettling knowing that he wasn't okay, and so the house wasn't quite the same for the night.
You want to go home?
Hey, hello. Oh. This is a really good outcome for everyone. I mean, it could have been so much worse for little Wilson. He could have had some really serious injuries and he's come off pretty lightly.
I'm so sorry.
That arm is still not 100%. He's going to need a couple of weeks of really strict rest with no playing, no jumping, and I don't envy them looking after a 14-week-old puppy and trying to confine them. It's going to be a tough job.
It's a better day. It's a good day. Everyone's happy.
Is that good? Yes, that's good.
At the Yarrambat Veterinary Clinic in Victoria, Tash, Misty and Lyndall are anxiously awaiting Charlie's biopsy results.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Couldn't keep away, huh?
Yeah. Missed him too much.
Yeah, I bet. Now,
Have you heard anything?
Yeah, I have. So, it's an aggressive tumour. There's no other way of putting it. It's one that is aggressive.
Can you die from it?
Yeah. Breaking this sort of news, it's never easy, it's never nice. But when you're telling a 14-year-old girl that the horse she loves so much is really seriously ill, it doesn't get much harder than that.
It's a massive shock, and I mean, I knew that something was bad, but I just didn't really want to hear it.
What we need to do is get in there straight away, operate, remove that tumour, but not just that, we have to hit it so hard by actually leaving little chemotherapy beads in there. Okay. In my experience with these sort of things, we'll get one chance at this, and one chance only.
Sweetie, it's okay.
Come on. It's hit Tash really hard and, you know, she's really feeling it. You just want to protect her and she's only 14 years old. You're going to have all of us crying.
I'm terrified for him, but he'll be okay.
Look, there's not too many jobs at the park that rattle me. Not too many that scare me, but female alligators are one of them. They're pretty terrifying.
It's alligator breeding season at the Australian Reptile Park.
Hey, boys.
Today's mission for Operations Manager Tim Faulkner is to retrieve freshly laid eggs.
Yeah, sitting just in front of the nest.
Oh, she's out already. Let's get in.
But first, he has to get past some extremely aggressive mums.
Righto, on your toes, boys.
For Tim and the team, it's a dangerous race against time.
Oh, here she comes already. Our climate here is too hot. It's not like where gators are naturally from in the States. We need to get those eggs out before today's sun hits them because they will overheat and die. You gonna play nice, Shirley?
Hey, settle.
The process is pretty simple on paper. Hey. We catch the female, remove her from the nest, collect the eggs, and then let her go. Sounds simple, but it's not that easy. Just watch those other gators too, boys. Female alligators are incredibly protective. They are some of the best mothers on Earth, and they are that because they will try and kill anything that goes near the nest.
Hey, watch out.
All right, Charlie. You brave boy.
In Yarrambat, Victoria, Charlie is about to undergo surgery to remove a cancerous lump from his eyelid.
We're dealing with a very aggressive tumour. We have to be aggressive back. We're going to go in straight away, operate, remove the tumour, and we're actually going to leave some chemotherapy beads in there, which are going to sit in there long term and prevent any cells from regrowing. The best plan for Charlie right now is actually to have this operation standing. The reason for that is that if you actually give them so much anaesthetic they fall to the ground, they can actually break their legs on the way down.
Dr. Andy Lynch will be managing the delicate operation with Chris.
It'd be nice to take, you know, really generous margins around it, but I don't think we can afford to do that in this case. Bit of a sting, Charlie. The difficulty with this tumour is its position. It's flush up against a part of the skull where there's some important nerves and vessels. Right, that's nice and numb now. We're going to have to be fairly delicate about how we go dealing with this lump.
So I'm just making an incision now around this tumour.
Tricky area.
Outside, it's all too much for 14-year-old Tash.
Hopefully he's gonna make it.
It's probably a little bit more tightly held to Charlie's head than I would have hoped. It's actually sitting right up against his skull, and we're actually having to break the attachments now.
And there it is. Look at that.
Here we go. This is the tumour here, and it feels like we've managed to get it all out, but the fact is there could be a few cells still sitting in there. So as insurance against this tumour regrowing, that's where the chemotherapy beads come in really handy. They're really small, aren't they? But geez, they
pack a punch, yeah.
That's good.
9 chemotherapy beads will remain in Charlie's eyelid, killing off any residual cancerous cells. At $100 a bead, it's expensive treatment.
Happy with that?
That's good.
So now we've got those beads in, it's now time to close up. Time has gone quickly for me, but for the girls, it must seem like an eternity.
Good boy.
He's pleased to see you, Dash.
I'm glad he's okay and it's finished.
Yeah.
I've got no idea what us and Charlie would have done without you, both of you.
It's all right. It's not every day you come across a connection like this.
I know he's not completely over everything yet, but there's a lot more hope than there was before.
Okay, so let's let him sleep this off.
Yep.
and all going well, we can load him up in a few hours' time and get him home.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look, you have to consider this to be a success. We've done everything we possibly can to make sure this tumour doesn't come back. Tash should be able to feel comfortable and confident that she does have a bright future with Charlie.
What a relief.
High fives?
Yeah.
Yay. Awesome.
Oi, watch out.
At the Alligator Lagoon at the Australian Reptile Park, it's a tense standoff between Tim and a very angry mum. This deadly predator has just laid eggs and they must be collected quickly before they cook in the heat.
That's it. Okay, on boys, on the back. Mick with me. Down you go. Let's go.
She's got no idea that we're actually trying to help her.
Got it, mate?
We're trying to save her babies. She just sees red. Someone's near the nest. I'm going to kill him.
Good job, boys. Let's get those eggs. We like to try and do this nice and quick. Gators can get a lactic acid build-up pretty quickly. And if she fights and struggles for, even 10, 15, 20 minutes, it's too long. Builds up, they can't cool down, it can cause them big problems. So we want to get in, get the eggs, and let it go. These are beauty, boys. Good-looking eggs. Obes, you better come down, mate.
Right,
just let go.
you boys
You're
right there?
boys?
Yep.
The other alligators are becoming agitated. Tim and the team are in an extremely dangerous situation.
Mate, you stay down, big fella.
Even though we want to get in and get out, it's one egg at a time. And that can be a little bit frustrating because you've got gators everywhere, you've got a mum that we need to let go, and you've just got to put them in very delicately.
That's 20 eggs, and I've just found a whole nother section. Still another dozen or more, easy in there. Yep. Watch that little one onto your side, mate. How many are we up to now? 45. Stay there. Just watch that little girl there. We got 2 now. Hey, 51. New record by 1 egg. You're right, mate. 1, 2, 3. There you go, Cheryl. Good, Mum. Mum will keep defending this nest for a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Obviously, her little gators won't hatch, so at a point, she'll just leave the nest. She won't know any different, and she'll slide back into the water and she'll do what she normally does. Okay, number 2. Next gator's Firecracker, and she's got that name for a reason. She's a real scary gator. Come on, a little bit further this way. That's a good, Mum. Bit more, please. Hey. We've got a big mum and a little mum. Little mum can't get a spot to build her own nest, so she's laid her eggs in someone else's. Problem then is, they're both defending it. That's good, good girl. No. I feel like bait. Right around. Whoa, that's quick. Okay, yep. That's it, mate. Okay, pass the rope around this side and come up behind me. Obes, Chris. What's that little one? 1, 2, 3. Got the legs up, Obes. Yep. Do you want to slide up here, Obes? 1, 2, 3, go. Righto, let's get these eggs out nice and quick. Mum coming in. Yep. It's like being underwater in a crocodile cage because your head's down and you're concentrating on what you're doing. How much longer you got in there, Tim? This girl's getting a little bit fired up here now. She's probably going to unleash very soon. That's it. It's 31. Righto, so let's do this fluently. Chris, how off? Obes, 1, 2, 3. See that, alligator? There we go. So now, it's pretty critical that we get the eggs into our incubator. There you go, mate. You have to be really careful that you don't muck up the temperature. If they're too cold or hot just for 5, 10 hours, they'll die. They need to be very specific. Now, the hotter it is, maybe 34 degrees, makes for boys. And the cooler it is, maybe 31 degrees, makes girls. Lucky last. There you go, mate. See you in a couple of months.
Now look who's ready to go home.
Hello. Hey, Charlie. Hey.
At the Yarrambat Veterinary Clinic, Charlie is ready to head back home to the Safe Haven Horse Rescue Centre.
It still doesn't seem real. No. It really doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With the cancerous lump removed from his eyelid, Charlie's future is now looking bright.
Good boy. Hopefully Charlie and I will be together for a very long time. I'm really looking forward to being able to look after him and just care for him and be there for him. Good boy.
It just goes to show what one girl's love for a horse can do. Tash somehow managed to bring together all these different people to achieve a goal, and that should be a bright future for her and Charlie.
See, Charlie.
Hi. What are you doing here?
Jelly's not very well.
Jelly.
At Sash, Belinda, one of the vet nurses, has arrived with her 6-year-old daughter Emily and their listless dog Jelly.
Did she eat her dinner?
Just a little bit, didn't she? But not much.
Not much. So she's feeling pretty sick. Jelly's had vomiting and diarrhea. She's really quiet. She's not wanting to eat much. She's just not a happy little girl. I think I'll help you fix her because you're dressed up as a vet ready to go.
Help each other.
We'll help each other. That sounds good. What do you think, Jelly? You got 2 vets today, huh? Belinda's daughter, Emily, is dying to be a vet. So as soon as she saw that Jelly was sick, she dressed up in her vet clothes, put her stethoscope on and said to Mum, come on, we've got to take Jelly to the vet, ready to go. How many years of training did you do to become qualified?
6.
So you've studied for 6 years? My goodness. So we need to examine her. Do you want to have a listen with your stethoscope? Tell me what you hear.
I don't think I'll hear anything because it's pretend.
Well, you try this one. Tell me what you can hear with this one. Jelly's heart is beating really fast.
Can you hear anything? Yes.
Yes. This is an excellent stethoscope. Shall I have a listen with my one?
Yes.
Yes.
I think her heart is beating.
It's beating, is it? I think it's very good that her heart is beating. It's a good sign. All right. You're going to take her temperature. This is going into a very private place. Don't look. Okay, don't look. And her temperature is 39, so that's pretty normal. So that's good. She hasn't got a fever.
Poor little boy.
It looks like Jelly's got gastroenteritis and it's probably from a dietary change or something that's just upset her tummy. She needs to stay in hospital on a drip and hopefully that will improve things. I think we're going to have to put a needle in her. Okay, I'm going to do it now. Cover your eyes.
I can't look.
You don't look. Emily can't bear the sight of blood, so I don't know how she's going to go being a vet, but I think with a bit of practice, she'll be just fine.
You have to be careful with your sore leg, okay?
So you want to climb up there and pop your patient in the cage. Hold on, be careful. Emily's patient Poodle is very sick. She's got a broken leg. So she's actually got a neighbouring cage to Jelly, so the 2 of them will keep each other company and hopefully we'll send them both home tomorrow.
Goodbye, little Bum Bum. I'll miss you. Goodbye.
Hey, Jelly Bean. How you feeling? Okay, you want to come out? All right.
It's been 24 hours since Jelly arrived at Sash with a case of gastroenteritis.
Jelly's like a different dog compared to when she came in. She really wasn't feeling well. She had gastro. Now she's been on fluids. We've treated her. She's bounced back. She's ready to jump out the door back to her family. Good girl.
Sash vet nurse Belinda and her 6-year-old daughter Emily are eager to be reunited with the puppy patients.
Look who's there! Jelly Bean. And Noodle the Poodle.
Noodle? Hello. I love you, Bum Bum. You're so cute.
Don't forget Noodle.
The reunion is absolutely delightful. Emily has a smile from ear to ear. She can't wait to take them home.
I made you a present, and it's for taking care of Jelly and Poodle.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Lisa, for taking care of Jelly and Noodle the poodle. It's my pleasure, Emily. Hey, Jelly, excited to go home, sweetie pie? Sure is. Emily's so gorgeous. She gave me a little present, a card saying thank you, and she's made the whole thing by herself. She's absolutely beautiful. Bye, Jelly. And bye, Noodle. Bye, Bill.
Thanks, Liz.
That's all right.
See you later.
Look after her. I trust you. Bye.
Hey, how are you? Good, man. How are you? I'm just here to see Swan, Wayne.
Chris is heading back behind bars at the Dilwinya Women's Correction Centre to determine if Wayne the Swan is ready for release.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a long road to recovery for Wayne after being found close to death in a suburban backyard.
Yeah, this is the perfect spot.
The black swan has spent the last 3 months being cared for by inmate Marie as part of the prison's wildlife care program.
This program gives you the opportunity to learn a lot about the Australian wildlife, and it's just very fulfilling that you've actually been able to help.
Let's just have a final little look at these wings.
Chris does a last check on Wayne to make sure he's ready to be set free.
They feel nice and free and easy. They haven't tightened up on his body. He's got a good range of motion there. There's no doubt that Wayne looks great. In terms of his physical examination, he's passed it with flying colours. Finally, after so much hard work, the big day's arrived. Anything you want to say before we release you? The Australian public wants to know. You gonna come clean on what happened in that backyard all those months ago? You're mouthing something, but I can't really understand it. That's swan talk for, I think I'm ready. There are so many different spots where we could release Wayne, but we've chosen this pond still within the correctional centre. The reason is that Wayne can fly away whenever he wants, but at the same time, there's the added security of knowing that, hey, if he's not quite right, or if he ever wants to come back for a feed, this is the perfect spot. I'm about to let him go here. Do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Wayne. See you, mate. Have a good life out there.
Good luck out there, buddy. Okay, there you go. There we go. He's just taking it, isn't he?
It's a fair bit bigger than his last pond, isn't it?
I feel very happy that he's finally gotten back out to where he belongs, out in the natural environment. Yeah, very pleased, very pleased.
Just one look at Marie tells you that at the moment she's absolutely overflowing with pride over what she's managed to achieve here. I'm sure when you're in a correctional centre, there aren't too many high points, but for her today, it's a big one. It's been quite a journey for her.
It has. It's been an incredible journey and lots has happened to him. You know, there's been so many different people all along the way. It's remarkable that he's come this far.
You guys have put more than the finishing touches on, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Incredible.
It's been 9 weeks, and every day we come up and we check our little gator eggs in the incubating room. Listen to that. That's it. That's what we want.
There are some new arrivals at the Australian Reptile Park, and these noisy babies are already full of cheek.
Hey, excuse me. Baby gators make that little cry and they call out to Mum, and Mum comes and rescues them. She picks them up and you know what she does? She takes them to water. And that's exactly what I'm doing, taking them from the nest into some water. They have a rinse off, get rid of all the yuck from inside the egg, and now I'm going to take them to their new home. They're ready to go. It's time to put you into your new home. Let's go. Hold on. This little cage that we've got the gators to go in, it's purpose-built for baby gators. We want our visitors to be able to see these tiny little gators. Not too quick. You want to stay with me, righto? You stay. There you go. They're jumping off these little ledges and hitting that water. They're up and their eyes are out, and this is the start of their new life. Listen to the calls. Even in here now, they're still calling for Mum.
Hi, I'm Dr. Danny Dusek from Bondi Vet. If you love our show and want to see more, plus some amazing content about pets and how to care for them, hit the subscribe button. Click that little notification bell and we'll see you on our next video.